What up, Shredder? Today we're talking about common body alignment mistakes. Now I want to give these to you ahead of time, so when you're out there on the hill, you don't have to learn these mistakes yourself. So we're gonna talk about the top 5 mistakes I see. Now these apply to pushing with 1 foot or riding with 2 feet. So first of all, I just want to remember when Ben told you, get into that defensive stance, right? The best, most stable snowboard stance is complete body alignment, where your head is over your shoulders, over your hips, your knees and your ankles, and all of them are bent. So you're ready for action. You got your hands up, and notice that our shoulders are parallel with our tip and our tail of our snowboard. We've got the deep bend in the hips and the knees. This is the most stable snowboard position that you're gonna get. Now, there's 5 common mistakes that occur when beginners get out there and they try to ride their snowboard. And this is gonna prevent you from having any fun out there. So mistake number 1 is called broken at the waist. So notice that I've got good posture. I'm standing up straight, I'm standing up tall, even though I'm very bent. Broken at the waist is, in order to bend over, instead of bending your hips and your knees, you bend your waist. So it's gonna look like this when you're out there riding. If you see somebody pushing like this or riding like this, that's bad, right? So we're gonna stand up straight, body aligned, center of gravity is in 1 straight line down. Mistake number 2 we see is counter rotation. Now this has a place in snowboarding, it's just not the most stable position we can be in. So counter rotation refers to when your upper body is turned the opposite of your lower body. So you can see I'm counter rotated. My upper body spinning to the left, my lower body to the right. Now we will use this in snowboard maneuvers, but when you're pushing, we generally want our shoulders lined up over our tip and our tail of our snowboard. And same with a good strong carve. If we're really traversing across the slope and have powerful carves, we're gonna have no counter rotation in our shoulders unless we need it to cut speed or we're doing a frontside board side, right? So nice alignment. It's almost like you're holding a piece of string with your front and your back hand that are connected to your nose and your tail. That's how we want to be pushing. It's how we want to be carving. Body alignment mistake number 3, straight leg. Some people get out there and they just lock out those knees and they're just out there trying to carve, but they're not getting any movement out of the snowboard because their legs are straight. We were on a deep bend. For some people, it almost feels like you're sitting in a chair when you're snowboarding. So really stick that butt out, get that deep bend, and that's gonna give you a lot more stability and also control of that snowboard. Mistake number 4 that I see all the time out there is too much weight into the back foot. I think people are just a little skittish of the speed going down the mountain, so they try to lean up the mountain, and they're just leaning into this hip. We wanna have our weight equally distributed, 50-50 on each leg when we're riding flat like this, 50% of your weight here, 50% here. Now when we initiate a turn, we might go 70% weight into the front foot. When we come out of that really hard or we're hitting a mogul, we might shift to the back foot. So it's not that you never shift, it's just you don't want to be leaning 70% on the back foot most of the time. That's what beginners do to kind of hedge against that downhill momentum, but that's not going to help you turn and it's not going to give you control over your snowboard. So mistake number 4 is not having a 50-50 weight distribution on your snowboard. Mistake number 5 is called knock-kneed, and that's when your knees come together in the middle like this. This is not a stable position. If you've ever done a squat in the gym, you're gonna push these knees out, okay? So we've got our knees lined up with our shoulders, they're pushing out just slightly, and they're not coming in like this. This is gonna give us a lot of stability. So those are the 5 most common mistakes we see with beginner snowboarder body position. The first is broken at the waist. The second mistake we see is counter rotation when you're in the middle of a carve or pushing. The third mistake we see is locking your legs out, not having those bent legs. Fourth mistake we see is too much weight on the back foot. Again, we want 50-50. When we initiate a turn, we're gonna lean 70% weight into our front foot. We're gonna come back to 50-50 in the middle. And the last mistake we see with body position is knock-kneed. So just not pushing out in that strong stance with those legs, but these are out by the shoulders. So again, if all else fails, just remember, everything is aligned. Your head is over your shoulders, over your hips and your knees, deeply bent, but the center of gravity has 1 straight line down it, and our shoulders are parallel with our snowboard. We're riding sideways. We're not riding forward, we're not skiers, remember? So don't turn your shoulders forward all the time. Sometimes we'll turn them forward to get a turn, initiate a turn, but in general, we're riding just like a snowboarder. So that's it, the 5 most common body alignment mistakes. Let's move on, that's all for today. Peace out, Shredder.
Strap it in. You nailed it. Nice.